We're going to be talking to Denise Faith. If you guys need a little bit of faith in your life right now, today's a day for everybody to feel belonging or what's not belonging in their community. So if you're feeling a little bit out of sorts with the people you work with today, or you're feeling a little bit out of sorts with your family today, today's the day.
Turkey, awesome.
Hey, from Turkey. We've actually we've got one of our advisors who's been with us for years over in Turkey right now.
Saudi Arabia, fabulous, fantastic.
Awesome.
Colorado, Telluride, one of my favorite spots.
So we're gonna be starting in a couple minutes. So give us a bunch of likes, please. Just hit the yeah. There you go. Hit those heart buttons. Also take the little arrow, forward it off to yourself, forward it off to a friend. Just trips out the algorithm. You know, we record these things and we put it out afterwards, but it's always nice to have an audience. We're going to be...
How much does
hi, from London. Yeah, we're going to be answering some questions.
Stress.
Yeah.
Holland, Utah.
And if you're in New York, we're going to be talking to...
H2 water expert, say Shane.
We're going to be talking to the only person who actually represents us in New York. So if you're in New York City, we are going to be talking to you. Okay, let's try and get this up here. It's 12:15. I'm going to ask. There she is. Hey there, Denise.
Oh, there she is.
Okay.
So Denise, we'll introduce you to everybody, but first of all, got to ask a question. Is Faith really your last name?
Faith is my middle name. It was the middle name that I was given, hated my whole life until I realized recently that it was a really good thing.
So why the switch to the name Faith?
When I was, okay, sorry, I'm trying to make this stand up right. There we go. When I was, actually it was during the pandemic when my whole life changed, and I was moving to an online, much more online presence, and I was, okay, I have to come up with a name, with something. And I don't do just one thing, so I didn't want to have a name that was like representative of the work I did because it's so broad. So I don't know how it just came to me that my name was Faith, and I was doing a lot of energy work at the time and doing a lot of distance healing stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh. And the person who laughed the hardest was my mother, because I used to lie and tell everyone that my name was Denise Lynn, because everyone I knew had the middle name Lynn, and my middle name was weird, and I never liked it. It took me a long time to grow into my name.
Yeah, I'll say it took a long time. It took a little over 5 decades.
Yep.
So you've been a body worker. Now going all the way back to Jane Fonda days, you were a movement body coach, body worker, 35 plus years, actually probably almost 40 years now.
Yeah.
Because we were saying 35 years when I met you 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So we're saying 35 years. So out of curiosity, now I'm a body worker. I've seen lots of weird stuff. What's the most embarrassing or weirdest moments that you've seen as a body worker? Come on, give us the dirty stuff.
Well, I've had some dirty stuff. The most embarrassing thing for other people is, of course, when they pass gas during and I just, ignore it. If they sometimes they get so apologetic. I'm not going to mention names, but I had somebody who is a very fancy person, I'll just say, a very high society New Yorker pass, and she was mortified. And I was like, happens, it's just a body function, let's move on. And then I just asked her about her kids or something to get her mind off of it, because I knew that she was mortified. And it happens. I mean, we all do it, right?
So I had the same kind of situation. Had my elbow, that's back in the old day when I was doing that kind of body work.
Yeah.
I had my elbow and I was right up into the piriformis area, the glute minimum area, and I'm pushing in there. Had my head right down there because there's a long hold, about 3 minutes. And all of a sudden, she passed gas in my face. And I had this moment of realization. It was like, do I say something? Do I not say something? Well, if I don't say something, it's going to be weird. And I'm going through all this in my head really fast because you can't have that much time. So finally, I said, it happens to all of us. And boom. And it was like it was like legitimately my most embarrassing moment. I've had people come in like full body session. I've had women and men go completely nude on a table when we're out, like at the garage, when it was fairly public. I've had some weird stuff like that happen. Have you had anything like that happen?
Well, I had this one guy when I was really young and just starting out, and this would never fly today. And the funny thing is, he was a shrink. He was a shrink, and I went to his office, and he had these little shorts on with no underwear, and I had and I was genuinely, I mean, I was probably 20 years old or 21, and I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, I don't want to say anything. He probably doesn't know. And then I asked another one of my clients who I was closer with, I was like, let me ask you something. If your stuff was like hanging out there, you would feel it, right? And he was like, yes, Denise, he's doing it on purpose. He knows it's happening. And I was like, so I dropped him right away after that. And then of course I wanted to know why did I drop him? Let's talk this over. Let's, creepy.
That's super funny.
Yeah.
So Denise, you've been like almost 40 years in the bodywork industry, the fitness industry, and stuff like that. Tell me what's changed for you, because you've had a radical shift since you met us.
Yes.
And if anybody's interested, you got this old, when we were just starting to get going, we have this interview of Denise. It's still on our YouTube. You can go watch it. First of all, just watch that. I'm going to leave that one up there just so people can see the difference in who you are. So tell us what's changed for you, the biggest shifts that you've had in your view of the body and what to do and how to help it. What's the biggest revelation over the last 3 years since you've been moving this direction with fascia and movement?
I've had a lot of revelations, but I would say the biggest is that we don't have to get so technical on which muscle, which ligament, which is, because it's such a bigger picture, and it's something that I've always known intuitively. And I think when I started with you guys, it gave me the permission to allow that no, it doesn't have to be this. And the biggest, getting away from diagnoses, because that puts people into this box and they feel like this is the only direction they can go and they have to go this way. And once you take that away, it opens so many more doors to healing. And so I would say getting permission, seeing that was also something that you guys were doing, that I was feeling it, and I felt like I couldn't let that out because I was kind of shut down when I would help people in that way. They wanted to know. I'm also in New York City, so people are, they want the very specifics of what exactly is going on, and it really is such a big picture. As a matter of fact, the kid, the girl who was just here, you guys met, Maddie, who was just doing my class with me, she limped over here. She was so happy to come do the class with me because her foot was hurting, and she said she didn't know what happened, and that she didn't really do anything to it. And I just let her, I said, so what happened? When did it start happening? And she told me this whole story that it turned out that it was completely, I don't want to go into this, not my place to tell her story, but she was in a situation that she was very frustrated, supposed to go somewhere. She had been traveling for an hour, and then the person told her not to come. And then she's like, then it just started hurting. I'm like, interesting. So I said, now that you've told me that story and we talked about it, let's just walk around and see if it's any better. And already so much of it had shifted. We didn't do anything. It was just talking about it, because emotions are involved with everything.
Absolutely.
So people always say this. They say, no, I need to see you. I need to see you personally. I need to be touched. I need physical. Now that's changed a lot. Now I get a lot of that in New York still when people ask. And by the way, for those of you guys who are watching this, we have very few coaches that we've actually trained and certified. Denise is one of the very few that's actually trained and certified and been with us since day one. So now when somebody says to you, like the first thing, if they come and they say, I want a coach, what's the first thing that you do? Do you go over and you get right in? Do you see them face to face? What does it look like? What is it, and how is it different than before?
So different, because now, first of all, I really try to encourage people to do things on their own, and I give them all tools. I will say that the majority of them don't do it. It's not that they won't do things themselves, but they have a hard time doing it with just them in a room with a video. So now what I'm realizing, they want to be coached through doing things that they can do themselves, which is why I've been working a lot more online and more effectively than just being a fixer. Because when I go in and physically put my hands on somebody, not that that isn't nice and worthy, that's amazing, and that work is very valid, but this way they're not dependent on that, and this way that can be just a treat of a session. But my initial session, people now, then when we don't do any movement, we talk and we start unpeeling the layers of what's going on in their lives, because that has so much more to do with what's going on in their body than anything else.
Absolutely.
Do you find that people today are more willing to talk? Like before, they used to come in and just work it out. You know, like push me, beat me up,
Yes.
run me like a dog until massage me, run me like a dog, whatever. What do you find that people are now more apt and willing to have that discussion up front?
Well, they are with me because I'm not doing anything anymore. Like they don't ask for it, and that's what they want, but I just say I'm not doing that anymore. And I don't work almost any of. I have a few of my former clients since the shift. I won't do that anymore. It's not how I practice. And there are plenty of people who practice that way. There's a lot available to them for people who don't want to do anything themselves and just want to be fixed. And guess what? They're never going to be fixed, because if you don't put that effort in yourself. And that's what I'm realizing. I mean, that is what I have realized through this journey. And I am sure of that 100%. The people who heal, people who are healing, who are actively working towards healing themselves, not just looking for a quick fix and getting somebody to fix them. So
what do you find now that working with people and they're looking to get rid of trauma? Trauma is the big word right now. And they're saying to you, how is it that these movements are going to help me relieve trauma? I've got this deep wound. I've got this deep emotional wound. It's been there. My mother abused me. My father abused me. I was sexually abused. How is this movement process going to help with that? What do you say?
Well, I say that all of these things are stored in the fascia. All of this fear and trauma and anger and resentment, and as we start to open up the fascia and release some of the pressure in the organs, it's going to be different with every person. But as the body starts to open up, as the fascia starts to open up, the emotions shift, and the what you're holding on to starts to release. And I've seen it happen time and time again.
Right. Mm-hmm. So what about
relationships?
Yeah. With family?
Yeah, with your family, your friends.
Oh,
how has that changed?
How's that changed
since you've been a fashionista?
You know, well, it's funny because I've been working with fascia for a long, long time. I just work with it a little differently now. My relationships, I don't think that what has changed is my reaction to things. It's not, and when my reaction to things changes, everyone else changes around. Right. That's all. I definitely notice that I am less, if somebody yells at me for something, in the past, I would have just yelled right back, and I had to and now just the way that I respond is different. And so then the yelling will stop. I mean, not that we're not a big yelly household, but you get irritated with people. And the response is so different now that their response has to be different. And I do notice a shift, definitely, in my.
So you're a Scorpio.
I was gonna say that.
Yes.
Scorpio mom.
So Scorpio mom. So what I can tell the world is that you better not lie to a Scorpio, because they know anyways. So what happens when people come up to you, you're coaching, and they say, yeah, I've been doing this every day, and they're lying to you. Do you actually call them out?
I do. I call them out. I say, really? I'll ask them to, show me exactly how they've been doing it and how often and when. And you can tell when they're hemming and hawing that they that, oh yeah, well, I did it this one day, and and we get to the bottom of it. Because if they are doing it every day, they're going to have the changes, and they're not going to be complaining that that they're not better.
Yeah, isn't it? I think that's the hallmark. If they're doing it every day, they are getting better, and they're not complaining. If they're complaining, it's because somewhere along the line they're not doing it.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And if they're, obviously there are always exceptions. If I've given them something to do and they're having trouble with it, then they'll ask me about it, and we'll shift it and adjust it and make it better. But if I haven't heard from them the whole time, and then they just tell me that they've been doing it and nothing happened, they're full of it. And
my mom is wanting me to do some work with her, and she's in her upper 70s, and I know you do a lot of work with older people. How has your work with elderly people changed since you started this?
Well, so the elderly people are a bit of an exception, because they really, I have a 92-year-old client who she can't do all of the things by herself, and she doesn't have the capacity. She's actually afraid. She lives alone, and she's afraid to do certain movements when I'm not there. And with her, it's amazing. I will actually twist her into the movements, and I get amazed every time as I watch the inflammation leave her body, and it's so cool. And you do this, and I've given her modifications, but she gets a total reprieve because she's 92. I'm not.
So
I think that's fantastic.
You said something. I watched the inflammation leave her body. What does it actually look like? And what does that feel like when you're doing it? Because since you've been doing fascial maneuvers, it's really changed. So tell people what it feels like when you see inflammation move the body.
So specifically, the thing that I was thinking of when I said that is when I have her lie down we do it on her bed. When she lies down, her feet are always just really, they're like swollen and purple, and you can just tell she's lived a long life. And so I will just do some fashion. Sometimes it's just putting her in the position of totally twisted, and she loves it. I put her in the position, and I twist her, and I have her turn her head and do the breaths, and I just take her a little bit further, assisting her. And as we release, I haven't even touched her feet, and I look down at her feet, and the color starts to come back. Like the purple starts to go away, and the inflammation starts to come out of her feet. The swelling comes down. And it's always, it's like my own little show that I have for myself, because she can't see her feet. She's lying down, and she's not nimble. So at the end, I show her feet, and she can see the difference. But
you got to take a video of that. You got to put your camera up, take a video, just show the feet.
She's incredibly modest. I did have that video. I put it in a private thing, but maybe.
Oh, but we need one for live, because otherwise we don't want to feel like we're defeated.
Okay, I will do it, and I'll get somebody to come over there with me and hold the camera, so that people will not want her face on the camera.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you can also get from your kids. You can get those little selfie sticks that stand up. They fold up. They stand up. You put them on.
My kids are not the selfie stick kind of people. Definitely.
I think that her kids probably aren't selfie stick kids. I agree with that.
Well, you have one child who's a mainstream A-list actor, and you have another child who's in college.
Yeah. Right
now, doing millennial maneuvers in college. So how has this changed your relationship with your family and your kids doing fashion maneuvers?
They think I'm wacky always, and now that I've gotten my daughter to do it, my son, I think I got him to do it with me. He's not an actor, by the way. He's a musician. He's actually on a tour right now, and today's his birthday. Happy birthday, Jonah!
Oh,
that's
hey,
cool.
He's Grandmaster Aquarius.
It's an Aquarius.
He's a Grandmaster Aquarius too. Today's a Grandmaster Aquarius day.
Well, Denise, I have an Aquarius daughter, so we have something in common.
I knew that. I think I knew that. I'm feeling 26 years ago, I was in labor for 26 hours.
Yes.
Yes. But
I feel you.
he'll do the maneuvers with me, let me help him if he has pain. He won't do it as a preventative. that's just not who he is. He doesn't have time for that. He doesn't do it. But if there's something going on with him, he will do whatever I say. Let me help him. And of course that has changed. Not, to be honest, that's just something that has changed as he's gotten older. When he was, you know, a young teenager, he wasn't going to listen to me no matter what. And now he always, and they both do. When they do trust what I do, and they trust me, and they always ask for help.
So do they?
And
do your kids? Are you like Mama Fix It? So every time your kids have a problem with one of their friends, they're out there saying, "My mom's got a wicked set of tools. She can fix it."
Yes, my daughter calls all the time about her college friends. Her college friends, her roommates are all athletes, and this one hurt this. What can she do? This one, and we'll go on it. We'll do like a FaceTime, and I'll show them what to do.
You know you're doing it right when your kids call in the middle of the night and say, "What can I do? I fell down the stairs and broke my toe," which happened to my daughter over the weekend. So
Yeah.
it's always helpful when you have something in your pocket to help them with.
Yeah.
My 9-year-old granddaughter, she was quite impressed one day when she said, "It's really nice to have somebody in the family that knows how to do this stuff, Mima." So I said, "Yes, it is."
Yeah.
We had someone with a 7-year-old that had autistic child. Things that you do you work with children very much?
I love to work with children. It doesn't, not as often as I'd like to. My husband is actually he has a baseball clinic. He does a free baseball coaching clinic. So he has all kinds of kids from all ages. And when in the summer, he'll ask me to come out and do some stuff with them. And they and I've done Totally Twisted with them, with a bunch of kids on the baseball field, and it was really, every time I do that, I'll film that.
Yeah, that's a fun experience when you get to work with a team.
Yeah.
So when you're working with somebody, what lights you up? What is that moment where you go, aha, it's worth it? Because sometimes working with people can be really draining, really tiring. So what are the moments that light you up? What makes you go, wow, I did it, I love this, this is what I love to do?
When they feel great and they ask me what they can do to keep feeling. When they've had a big shift and I know it's happening, you know, when you're working with somebody, you feel it. You feel it when they have that shift, and it's so gratifying to know that you've helped them, and to take it to the next level when they say, what can I do to keep this up? How can I, tell me exactly what to do, and I'll do whatever you tell me, because I haven't felt this good in years or whatever. I have so many people that have had, you know, have been suffering for so long, and I show them one little thing and it changes, and that is just amazing. That's all I want to do, is help people feel better in their bodies.
So 3 years ago, 4 years ago, Denise, with all the tools and all the body work and all the training, and today, if you had to go pick to who to work with, who would you work with now?
Oh, definitely the one now. For sure.
I remember the Denise back in the day.
Yeah.
You were always full of questions, and you always wanted to question.
Because I needed to know the whys, and it was a great relief to not know that. Not to know that anymore.
So if someone's going to start an appointment with you, what should they do first before they see you? What would be the best prep so that you're ready, that they're ready? What's the ideal client look like when they come and see you, or when you see them?
I mean, at this point, honestly, I really send everybody to the 15-minute stress reset, because I really think that's such a great thing to do. And as I said, I don't always have the luck of them getting to do it. So now that I've been teaching these free classes on TikTok, and I do a modified version of the 15-minute stress reset. I do the first few exercises in like 3 minutes, just so that people can see that it's possible. People who say, I don't have time to do a 15-minute stress reset, which sounds silly because you guys are in Cancun, but I'm in New York City, and people say that I don't have 15 minutes to do that. But if they don't have the time put into themselves, then I'm not going to be able to help them. And I tell them that.
So best thing is that they've done the 15-minute stress reset. They've done it a couple times, maybe like 2 or 3 days. Then they have an appointment with you. That first appointment, you're going to talk about what's going on in their life. And then from talking about what's going on in their life, then you're going to, do you move with them? Do you just tell them what to do?
And I would say the last few new people that I've had, that's kind of exactly how it goes. And we talk for a long time. Have some, usually when they come to me, it's because they have some specific pain, and they might say that they have trouble doing totally twisted, or they have trouble, which happens, and this way I can adjust for them. But if they have something specific going on, at the end of our first session, I'll do a few movements just so they see how it can be, and then give them homework, and then we'll meet again. Now, during this period when you guys were sending me clients, and I really was so set on just getting them to, you know, talking through with them what's going on and then sending them to the videos, that was when I realized that they really weren't doing it. So now I'll schedule a follow-up appointment, because then at least they're accountable. Because they're in the beginning, they're not accountable to themselves, and they realize that that's the whole answer. Is
why do you think people aren't accountable to themselves today?
I don't know that there's the same answer across the board, but I think people, they just often are still in that mindset of, I want to be fixed. I want, I don't want to do anything. I just want you to help me. And they don't realize that they're not going to get the help they need by that approach. I don't know why they are doing that. It's just a mindset. So
okay, now we've talked about what you do with fascial, because technically everything we've talked about is fascial maneuver coaching.
Yes.
But there's a whole other side of Denise, which has been developing over the last 3 years,
yeah,
which is really really a mentor for people that are going through major transitions in their life, whether it's relationship transitions, they've had sexual trauma that they're working through, and it's in our Lifestyle Artist program, and you're mentoring and guiding lots of the 28-day reset or lifestyle artist people. What do you find that's different now that when somebody's come through our 28-day reset and they've gone to the lifestyle artist program, what do you find that's different with them as opposed to working with somebody that's fresh off the street?
Oh, wow. Well, they've done so much more inner work, so much more introspective. They are really articulating not just their emotions, but their perceptions and what's going on and how that's relating to their bodies. And the coolest thing is they're figuring it out on their own now just by talking it through. And they have all this amazing support, which is great. But the way that it's shifted as people are coming in now and going through the program, they're so much further involved than we were when we started this.
Yeah, actually,
it's a different program then.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the people coming through the 28-day reset, and they're more advanced than the people that went through the Lifestyle Artist program when we went through in person. Yeah, even our in-person people. And then I've also noticed the people through the Lifestyle Artist program right now, they're coming out and they sound like they've done a PhD on fascial maneuvers and life integration, right?
Yeah, some of them even answer questions like Gary. It's like...
So
they have access to all of this stuff. We didn't have any of that. So they've gone through all of that on their own before they came in. And that's how you know. And that is exactly the shift I'd like to see in the general population, to get them to do things on their own, because then someone like me or another practitioner can take them to the next level. Like they can that they're initially coming in for on their own. And then
today your distribution of time, new people to people that you're caring for that are going through this journey, what does that weighting look like right now? Do you spend most of your time with new people, most of the time with people in our Lifestyle Artist program that are personally going through their journey? Where do you spend your time?
It's pretty even. I mean, I have some of my older clients, but I'm really enjoying being able to do things remotely. I've been able to travel a lot more while I do things remotely, and even I've been committed to my Tuesday 11 a.m. TikTok class, which to your TikTok, my Instagram, which has been great because I get people asking me all kinds of questions and I'm able to help. Honestly, I'm really happy to answer questions and help people for free. It's not all about getting new clients. What I am going to start doing, because I do this niche, and I have studied with a lot of the creators of a lot of different programs, and I'm able to combine them all and use the fascia work that we do with Human Garage. It enhances everything else. And that was actually one of the things that I really loved about this when I first started with you guys, is that it was never my way or the highway. It was always like, this is an enhancement. This is, because a lot of times you take a program and like, this is the only thing you ever need to do. And that's never going to be true. There's not a one fix-it plan for everybody. So it's been really great to use the concepts of the maneuvers with other modalities and other techniques. And ultimately, I'm going to be teaching some workshops, very small workshops, so that people can really interact and ask questions, and we can cover specific things. I'm working on putting those up now, working with practitioners, and also with people who just have specific things that they need, so we can go a little bit deeper in a group. And I'm happy to I love being able to do it, to put free stuff out there and help people. And it's been really gratifying how many people have been helped by some of the things that I've put out as I learn how to navigate this social media world. But I want to be able to have people ask me right then, because I am a little blind. So when I have all the things up here, have the videos up, and I say in the beginning, I can't see comments or questions. So you have to ask me later, or if there's anybody else who's a seasoned maneuverer, feel free to answer the questions. I always say that. So, because I can't see any of the stuff. So that's why I wanted some more intimate workshops. I think that people will really get some value out of.
That's fantastic, Denise. Really.
If you get into an intimate workshop, what would it look like? Is it something where are you still doing them online? Are you doing them in person? What is that going to look like?
I'm definitely going to start out doing them online so that I can have a broader reach. And I'm going to have to do a couple and see what people want. I'm definitely going to keep them limited so that people get really, so that they get their questions answered, and that we get to really interact, and it'll be the group. I probably will start with a 10-person group, maximum, and go from there. I have so many things that people ask me about. I have so many different things to cover, and I think I would do like a one topic, and we would do a workshop on that. And the other person who I met through the life program, Dr. Matt, who I've been with Centerpoint meditation, which Gary, I was able to demonstrate for you when we met in person, but it's very connected, working with the emotions and the biofield. So putting that together with the maneuvers has been amazing. And
I think Centerpoint's amazing. I think what it is, it's a language. It's a language to use the maneuvers. The maneuvers is like an operating system. Centerpoint is a language, an app that allows you to use it, because you can get into and find different spaces, but it's under a very similar philosophy of finding it yourself and looking for the origin of it. But it brings more awareness to the fact that origin is not in your body. Centerpoint is from the field down into the body, I see, and fascial maneuvers is from the body up to the field. So it's a very good combination. And we love Dr. Bretsky. Dr. Matt, I get a call from him every once in a while. He's been busy. If you're in the Netherlands, you've got to look him up.
Yes.
And you do work with him directly. You're one of his key people as well.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'm his right-hand man. So we've been working together.
So are you doing any Centerpoint stuff online?
So that's what I was going to say. I'm going to be doing workshops also online. Right now, it's Matt has been doing live programs in the Netherlands. He's been doing live workshops, and there's a course that you can take online, which I think I have that link in my on Instagram. but it's really effective to do it. And in person on Zoom is great. You still get the thing. So I will definitely be doing Centerpoint workshop.
Yes,
So-
I've had the pleasure to work with Matt, and it is fantastic.
So if anybody out there in the audience has any questions, feel free to ask. We're gonna start to wrap this up a little bit, but if you have any questions, we're gonna scroll through. Cynthia's gonna be looking.
We do have one. We do have the maneuvers in Spanish, so they're on YouTube. If they go to Spanish,
We'll have other languages. Matt Bretsky did it in Dutch as well. You can find it under international or under languages on our YouTube.
And somebody asked earlier, they had a 7-year-old who's autistic and wondered if there was any movements for that.
Yeah, what would you do for a 7-year-old who's autistic?
So when you say autistic, that's such
A big spectrum. Yeah.
I can't say a 7-year-old who's autistic. I'd have to actually speak with them and see where they are. And
so that's a good point. It's like people say it all the time. I've got an 11-year-old who has a hip issue. Or I have an 11-year-old who can't breathe, and I get those all the time. So in other words, the best advice is please give us more information, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You have to have something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody just asked if we believe in meditation.
Yeah. What's your point? What's your belief in meditation? Since
I believe in it. No, I think meditation is great. I personally, I have gone through periods where I meditate, and I think it's super valuable, and I have nothing negative to say about meditation. I personally have a hard time in a meditative state. That's actually one of the things I love about Centerpoint, because you get into that meditative state in a few seconds and you get the same benefits. We actually have some research that shows that, and that has been a lifesaver for me, because I just have that monkey mind when I sit there and try to meditate. I either fall asleep or and I think
same thing. Look at I started TMD in my early part of the clinical career, because what was happening is I didn't realize I was absorbing emotions from people, and then I would do an appointment. I got to do 4 or 5 appointments in a day, and then after a while, I just kept getting worn down. All of a sudden, my kidneys shut down. I started passing kidney stones. And then I realized that I needed to meditate in between. So I would meditate between my appointments. And like you said, I would try to do 15 to 30 minutes, but I would either my mind would go crazy or I would shut down. For me, fascial maneuvers was a movement meditation. And now like that works for me. And Centerpoint, the little bit that I've tried, it gets you into that meditative state right away, which means that you don't have to be sitting there like a Shaolin monk. You can actually move yourself into it. And by the way, for people who are asking why, is because your brain is a processor. It's not your computer. The body's a computer. If there's lots of malfunctions going on here, when you shut down and you stop, your brain's starting to work. And if there's lots of information that you haven't processed, for me, I was a Sagittarius. I hold everything. I was just holding all my emotions. And she's a Scorpio, so she's destined to hold emotions. Yeah, so that's what's coming out.
But that being said, I think that somebody's asking for the website for Centerpoint. If you go to Denise Faith Healer is my Instagram, and it's in my link tree. I think all of that being said, there are certain type of people like us who that is what works best, but for the people who do meditate and get that, more power. I'm jealous of them that they can do that. I have friends that, and somebody had typed in here that they meditate for 3 hours a day, and I think that's amazing. And I have absolutely only positive things to say about that. I'm just jealous because I can't do it.
Jealous. We have Tanya who's asked about her husband who suffers from severe migraines and anxiety. So what would you suggest?
What would you suggest?
So for migraines, I would say, well, for the anxiety, totally twisted. Honestly, even seated, totally twisted, and really doing it with the human garage video where you take the time, go through all the breaths, and I would really bet that they'll see a difference in the anxiety. As for the migraines, my favorite is definitely the ears. Do the ear release. It releases the ears and the jaws, and you can find those videos everywhere. Those are really amazing.
We had somebody else ask about what they can do for scapula and shoulder pain.
So scapula and shoulder pain, there are a lot of different things. I would say the pullover is a great one for scapula, and I like the shoulder one, which I did today in my class, the shoulder torque, where you really put it into place. And yes, there's videos on that everywhere, but that is a great one for pain.
Yeah, those are good ones.
Yeah, and going to our social media and watching the videos and doing the 1 day reset and the 3 day reset, 7 day reset, and kind of working your way through those helps everybody above board. Like, it just covers everything. So that's always a good place to shoot people.
So couple things. I encourage people that are watching this right now to go, this will be listed and posted on our wall, to go hit Denise Faith and follow her. Ask her any questions. I know that sometimes it's hard to get questions. We answer 1,000+ questions every single day. And you could ask Denise every question. You can see we have the same answers because we've been doing the same thing. She's been in the industry longer than I have. So she knows her stuff for sure. So follow her, ask her questions. She'd be happy to answer.
Yeah, and what if we had somebody ask their dad's 75 and has arthritis? So that's kind of in your ballpark of.
Yeah, that's. I mean, honestly, it's the same answer. Doing with arthritis, doing the maneuver seated. If you 75 and I'm just thinking of the 75-year-olds in my life, I would start seated. If they have the balance, get them to work up to doing it standing. But like I was saying before with my 92-year-old, in just the upper body, I watched the change happen in her legs. So that is, it's not about spot. It's not about finding the spot where you have the pain and doing a release there. It's about releasing the whole body. That the fascia is connected everywhere. So you can release something in your upper body and it goes down to your feet or wherever the pain is.
Right. We had somebody ask about long COVID. I hear that word a lot. I have long COVID, and they've been diagnosed.
I'll take that.
I know
I'll
you
take
want
that.
to, but we also have. Go ahead. I'll throw it to him.
Long COVID. Guys, long COVID, short COVID, it's just different names for, if it's long, it's because your body's immune system is weak. Fascial maneuvers, 15-minute reset, organ reset 1 time per day. Get your body loaded up with diatomaceous earth or silica. Get minerals in your body. You can buy our Fascial Foundation, Fascial Flow, and our Power Kirk 30. Our Power Kirk 30 has been approved in a higher version, the same technology, as a COVID treatment. They're actually, it's in clinical trials right now for a COVID cure, which is actually super cool. So yeah, I just, guys, a flu's a flu. So let's just, if you have it, work it out, get the flow in the body, liquids, get in the bath, nurture your body, and take care of yourself. Don't try to do too much. Don't feel guilty about not going to work. Take the time for yourself. That's the biggest thing that I find with any of these things.
Yeah.
So Denise, last parting question. Fascial maneuvers, before or after fascial maneuvers with your husband, is sex better?
You knew that was coming.
You're a Scorpio, so you gotta ask.
You gotta ask because you know I'm a Scorpio. I'm not going to answer.
Exactly. Oh, snap. Excellent answer.
Okay.
And on that bombshell.
Let's just say I am happily married for over 30 years.
Yes. That's awesome.
Fabulous.
Thank you so much. Denise,
it's been really fun, Denise.
It's been a pleasure. And you can find Denise at Denise Faith Healer on her Instagram handle. You can also, if you're watching this, you can click on the top. You can go right to her profile, ask her a question. If you're in the New York area and you're looking for a coach, you can definitely work with Denise, but it's not restricted to New York because she works online. So we just want you to engage with her and ask her questions. You're going to find that her years of experience are invaluable, especially when it comes to kids and touchy situations with people. She's navigated COVID and New York, so she's got to be a superstar at that.
Yeah.
Thank you,
You're
Denise.
amazing, Denise.
It's an honor to have you as part of our team. You're the longest standing member. You're there all the time. You're there for all the people in our community. Our community thanks you. You're always making phone calls behind the scenes, making sure everybody's taken care of like a mother hen. So we appreciate you for doing that.
I love
Very fun.
Thank you guys. Mwah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.